How's it going, guys? Thomas Draven back again for another video, and in this one we are doing an episode of Mod Project Guitars, and here I have my 6-string RedSub Coliseum bass that we are doing a headless conversion on today. So I know that this sounds really scary and a lot of people are like, why the hell would you want to do this? Well, I really like headless guitars and basses, and this thing weighs a friggin' ton with this big old headstock. So I decided, why not just take the plunge, turn it into a headless instrument and see what happens, and worst case scenario, I will buy a new one if I irreparably fuck this up. So we're kind of going to be going through the process of it a bit more, as opposed to the usual Mod Project guitar videos where I just kind of show you, the end result. But this time through, what I'm going to do is just show you guys everything that I'm doing from start to finish. So, how expensive is it to do a headless bass conversion? Originally I thought it was going to be like close to $400 for the hardware and the tools that I would need in order to get this done. Come to find out that that is not the case. Actually, I was able to do this project for about 140 bucks. So you're probably asking how I managed to do that, especially given the fact that headless instruments are so much more niche than a regular headed instrument. And essentially it was mostly due to Rondo Music that I was able to make this happen. So I asked them through email, just on their contact on their webpage, if they sell the headless bass hardware that they have on their Bryce basses and Agile basses, just individually. And they were like, yeah, how many do you need? And they quoted me for about 85 to 90 bucks for a set of 6, which is like, $200 less than what you'd be able to find through like ABM or Hipshot or something like that. And so this is what the bass tuner looks like. Obviously you roll this back and forth to tune it, and I'll show you in a bit, but actually this works perfectly because the design of this and the size is basically exactly the same as what's already on the RedSub, so I won't really have to do too much modification to it. Just add a couple more screw holes here and there, but otherwise it should be perfect. So here is the plan for today and the next couple days as I am working on this bass. First step, obviously, was taking off the strings. Did a little bit of a fret polish as well with some steel wool just to get them a little bit nicer. These frets have never been perfect, but they're, usable, all things considered. Then, as you can see here on the tuners, on the bridges, they're just secured by 2 screws, but this front screw I can use with the Agile ones, just so that they're placed in exactly the same place, and obviously just adjust the intonation from there. I will need to add a little bit of a route job around this area, just so that I can still have access to the tuners. Here it's not so much of an issue because these 3 already kind of hang over this little comfort carve, but then these 3 do need a little bit of a route job, which I'm using just like a regular trim router that I bought from Harbor Freight for like 30 bucks. And then for the headstock, obviously I have to sort of map out, sorry the sun is like shining directly on that, but I have to map out exactly where I want to lop this off, and just measure that out so that obviously nothing breaks or falls apart. But I should have pretty good purchase across here is where I'm kind of hoping and planning to put it, but that remains to be seen. We just gotta sort of take it in stride as we go. So first step is gonna be swapping out the bridge tuners and just seeing, exactly where I'm going to need to cut with the router and obviously drill the extra holes. So let's do that first. Alright, so we actually already ran into a little bit of a hiccup that I wasn't anticipating for. The screws used by the original hardware are much larger than what comes with the Agile hardware. As you can see, it's much too thick. So I think what would probably work best is taking some wood skewers and filling in the holes. At least that way, you know, they're already in the right place and I don't have to worry about, you know, messing up the placement per se. So yeah, I can probably just fill the front holes and then re-drill them with a smaller bit so that we can get the new bridges in there. But actually, when I'm doing this, I need to show y'all. Essentially, they are exactly the same size for the most part. You can stick them side by side here. The original hardware is a little bit shorter, like you can see the RedSub, or sorry, the Agile Rondo hardware is a little bit taller, but other than that, it just seems like they use slightly different screws. So I'm just gonna go get some like wood skewers and stick those in and drill them in place, and then we'll be back to replacing the rest of them. Okay, so as far as I can tell, off of just a preliminary sort of alignment check, they're pretty much mostly there, as far as I can tell. Again, just based off of what I saw during that. I will say that I don't know if this was a feature or just something up with the original hardware, but the spacing of the first two tuners and then the last three is kind of off. And I don't know if that's something to do with the dimensions of these compared to the originals, but that is something I'm gonna have to look out for. That being said, it didn't seem like a huge issue when I was doing the test fit, but that remains to be seen, I suppose. So I'm gonna go ahead and drill the holes back here for the remainder of the bridge screws, and then we're gonna take them off, mark out where we need to put our routing here, and then do that. Yeah. Alright, so far so good on the bridge swaps. This is really realistically only like a test fit at the start, just to see how these will fit when it comes to like mounting up with the old hardware positions. That being said, obviously, like I expected or suspected rather, these three tuners are definitely going to need a little bit of a routing job underneath the tuning pegs, as it were, in order to just make it feasible to tune it, because, you know, trying to do it like this is kind of an awkward grip, rather than over here having the ability to really grasp the entirety of the tuner, especially when the strings are under tension. I will say I did mess up, because the first saddle I did measure compared to the old saddle, where the saddle was set for the intonation, but I forgot to do that with the other 5, so this one will probably be intonated decently, and then I got to you know, perform a whole brand new setup on the other ones. That being said, before I go ahead and drill the holes for the back ends of the bridge, I'm gonna go grab a string and do a test fit just to make sure that I have my string spacing and alignment under control, and then I can drill those holes and then remove the tuners and route out my little channel. All right, so my phone died while doing the time lapse of the actual routing. These are my glasses. I don't know if anybody's on YouTube has ever seen me with glasses on before, but routing job looks like shit, but that's kind of okay because I don't mind the fact that the routing job looks terrible. I just don't. Like, this will bother the hell out of a lot of people, but I myself don't particularly care. So I am going to reinstall the bridge hardware, get that looking nice and pretty and set up for the most part, and then we will start looking at the headstock. Wish me luck, guys. All right, guys, so the routing job is complete and the tuners are installed. Is it the prettiest thing in the world? Absolutely the hell not. It is not a perfect routing job by any means, but the tuners work and are functional. The next thing to do is to set up the string lockers at the head and then chop off the rest. Alright guys, as you can see, the string lockers are in place. Is it, again, the most perfect thing in the world? God, no. Does it look kinda cool? Absolutely. So, next step is to find the best way to cut off the remainder of the headstock, this unnecessary portion here. So, I'm not sure exactly what my plan of attack is. I realistically could probably just go straight across right here and not run into too many issues. Plus that way I have the benefit of these holes so I don't have to cut nearly as much. But we will have to wait and see, because I want to plan that out beforehand and not just gung-ho it, even though that's kind of the name of the game here, in my opinion. All right, so final step of this is to saw off the head and close the door here. In before anybody tells me in the comments that I should have put these string lockers closer, I definitely would have wanted to, but the thing about it is that the strings that I have are new tone strings and they are very thick, obviously up to here, but then once you get past here they taper down, and so where the taper is placed kind of necessitated that I put these that distance back. If in the future I swap out the strings with a new set of new tone strings, I'll probably see if I can get them to taper sooner so that I can put the string lockers up here, but that'll be a video for another day and time. So essentially next step is to saw off the head. I have just an ordinary hacksaw. Wish I could have a table saw or anything like that, but I'm working with what I have within my means, and so this is what I have. The plan is to probably do it just right here, right after the string lockers, but I'm gonna start up here and just go a bit more gradually, just so I don't fuck it up. So yeah. And there you have it, guys. The headstock is off. I'm gonna sand this edge down a bit, make it a bit more rounded off, make it look a bit prettier. Maybe put some stain or tongue oil, some finishing stuff over the top, just to really seal it in nice and good. And then we'll string it up and see how it sounds. How's it going, guys? So this video, I have not gotten an opportunity to actually film a sound demo for the headless conversion bass. Like, I recorded this video a month ago or so, and I still haven't had the time to get down to actually doing that. That being said, I just started a new job and I am moving soon, so it'll probably still be a while before I get to do a proper video on how it sounds. Granted, I don't think it'll sound much different than how it used to sound, but I will show you guys the final result, which I have here in my hands. This is it, and I've had an opportunity to play it, and it's actually, I'm kind of impressed with myself on how much different it made the bass to play. Like, it just feels so much more balanced. Like, when you stand up with it with a strap, it just feels a lot more balanced. Yeah, that's really all I can say about it, is it just feels a lot nicer in the hands. And untwist my strap really quick. I've made it worse. Okay, doesn't matter, strap can be twisted. But it just feels a lot more balanced. The body hangs in a much more comfortable way. It's a lot easier to play higher up on the neck, so you're not like struggling for those frets. It feels a lot more tucked in and comfy to play. So I just wanted to show that off quickly at the end of the video. Again, I will get around to doing a sound demo at some point in the future, but it's probably just going to be a little bit of time. But I do have a lot of other content planned, so once I get a free moment and everything calms down for a little bit, I'm going to really grind out the sound demo for this and some of the other content that I have planned. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you'd like to do something similar to this, I will link to Rondo Music's contact page in the description. And that being said, if you're going to be using power tools and you're not an adult, make sure you have adult supervision. If you are an adult, act like one. That being said, if you're not nearly as crazy as me, I'm sorry. I thought this was fun. I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm glad that I did it. I have zero regrets. So again, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you did enjoy, or even if you didn't enjoy. If you like, comment, and subscribe. Even if your comment says that you hate me and this was stupid, just make sure you do those 3 things just for me, because that really helps me out. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys soon. Peace.